Hi, whoever is watching this, I hope they're having a good day. Today we're going to discuss typography. Now, this is something that is a very important subject when it comes to design. I think this is a subject uh, very often ignored or not taken as seriously. I think a lot of new designers or upcoming designers or designers who are gaining experience and knowledge uh, have difficulties focusing on this because they don't take it as seriously. To them, design is very centering to how it looks in terms of color, element, flashness, how flashy it is, how eye catching it is, and how cool or whatever you want to call it. What they never focus on is the content, is the typography. I see this a lot. Since I have worked with a lot of new coming designers and I have trained a lot of new people as well, I think this is something that sets them apart from being a really well decorated, well trained designer versus someone who is still learning, someone who finds their design not as good. If you feel that way, I think this video will be very helpful. Where you see a lot of other design and they're popular and everybody's loving it, and you're like, why is that? Why is that design is very nice? And how do I make my design that way as well? One of the reason, as I mentioned, is that those people do not focus on the content and how to really utilize it, how to make it more creatively, how to understand the content, and especially what is typography, how it applies in our designs, what are the principles of typography, and how to implement them, how to know that what is wrong with our typography, what is wrong with our design. So if you don't know what is wrong, then that's you cannot fix it. You first have to identify a problem to be able to find a solution. If you don't know there is a problem or you cannot identify it, you cannot fix it. So in this video, I'm trying to do that. First, I'm going to identify the mistakes. I'm going to let you know why it is bad. Then I'm going to give you solutions. And I'm going to give you the right principles and formulas. So you can apply that to any design and not just one design or very similar to this. My goal is to be able to give you that understanding. Basically, instead of feeding you a fish, I will teach you how to, catch a fish, if that makes sense. So you will be able to do it for yourself in the future. So let's start with that. We have a design example right here. I'm using this design because I actually improved it and then I send it to the client, right? So I can really show you what I did. So you can have a better idea. I can show you, yeah, this is the improvement, this is how improve, instead of just criticizing, just complaining basically. Uh, First I want to show you the design. I just want you to take a look at each image and then think to yourself. Ask yourself, like, hey, what is wrong with this design? What kind of problems you can identify here? Two images you are looking at, right? I will exactly explain what is wrong and how to improve it. But I also want you to see where you are at this point to understand the issue, at what scale you can understand, or if you can understand it at all. It is completely fine if you see no issue with this design, because that is the thing I explained, that you maybe not be able to identify the issue. That's why you're not solving it, right? So you have taken a good look in these two images. Look at these two images. Ignore the lifestyle image. Just focus on the content. Just focus each and every detail. How is it? How is it displayed? What kind of font used? What is the size? Is etc. Let me show you two more images. Have a good look. Maybe write it down. What you're seeing is wrong. And if you find is something wrong, then I want you to ask yourself, hey, did you do anything to fix it? Or do you know how to fix it? That is a good question, I would say. Maybe you see like, hey, this is bad, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to make it right. That could be a question you're asking yourself as a designer. So you have a good look, right? Now let me show you what I created. Take a good look. See the differences. Ask yourself, can you spot the difference? Ask yourself, what did I do here? Why did I do it? And why this is better? If it is better, why is it better? Why these designs are approved by the client and liked by the client, you know. Two more images to look at. And two more. Have a good look. I will explain everything. I will go through every image, and then you will see like, oh, so that is what you're doing. Like, this is how to do it. So let's start with this, for example. Let's bring them down, isolate them so I can talk about it. Maybe I need to put it next to each other. Okay. I'm going to select a brush. Make it, I think I will make it green. I think that will be highlighted. Oh, let's see these. Okay. Okay, so if you had a good look at this and you're wondering what's the difference, let me explain. One thing I will be mentioning a lot is a hierarchy. Hierarchy is the difference between uh different things, right? What is at the top, what is more important, what is secondary, what is at the third position. That is the hierarchy. For example, like if you win a medal in Olympics, what rank you are at, first, second, third. That's like the hierarchy of the things, You see the pyramid, like at the top, what is the most important, second, third, fourth. That is like a hierarchy, basically. So in here, hierarchy is very important as well. You have to be able to see the hierarchy between these three things: tagline, subtagline, description. Now, first of all, uh, you have to see the sizes. First indicator is the size of the font. So the points, right? Point size. So how to determine the hierarchy in that? Basically, what you need to do is that you have to understand the golden ratio. So if a box is 100 by 100 pixel, and the second box is half of that, so the division is like divided by 2, divided by 2 again. You see any resemblance between these things? Let me bring it to my design. I feel like that is what I applied here. The size of this, the size of this, font size I'm talking about, and the font size of this has the same kind of hierarchy. That is why it's looking better. So, for example, let's just say this is your tagline, and I make it 50 points. I make it bold. That is both the hierarchy of it. It's thicker and bigger. Now I need to create a subheading, right? Same thing. I can do 35. No, even less. 25. That is a good benchmark. I will make it semi-bold. You know what? It's not even good. Here, I'll make it uppercase. Now it's time for the description. What font size was this? 20. What is this? 11. What is this? 50. 50, 20, 11. Same concept. That is how you need to have the hierarchy between your text description and subheading. There needs to be a difference between all three. Why? Because it comes from readability. If this is not meant to be read together with this, it shouldn't look like it. If this and this not supposed to be read the same way as this, it shouldn't look like it. Then you will read everything together and you will be too confused. You won't know what's going on, what's happening, too confusing, not readable, loses the purpose of designing something which is called an infographic. I hope this helped you understand it much better. You need to understand the hierarchy between things. So always go with the rule of divided by 2. That is the division you need to use of the golden ratio. And then I would say it's like a starting point. Don't just make this 50 and 25 and this 12 and quarter a day, because you have to visually see if it working properly. You have to see it visually. Is the hierarchy is meeting? Can you see spot the difference between this and this and this? If you can, then it's a good size. Don't just only apply on the formula. Formula includes analyzing the thing, the result visually as well. Design is a visual thing, and it's not supposed to be just about pleasing the eye. It's also be very easy to understand. Get what I mean? If someone lands on your picture in 10 seconds, they should understand everything about the content of it. If it's taking them too much time, then the design fails at catching their attention, selling them something. Purpose of a design is to sell something or is to communicate something, convey something. It could be a product, it could be a service, it could be a message. And if the message is not readable, if the pitch is not understandable, then it loses its purpose. And that is why it's a bad design. It's not everything about how flashy, nice, or cool it looks. It's 50% that and 50% this. So make sure that this is implemented in your design, basically. Let me know if you have any question about this. But yeah. The other thing is the same principle but applied on a different situation. So we discussed the hierarchy between the font size and the thickness. In here you can see meeting all your bath needs. Enjoy a spa quality experience at home with Freda and Joe Spa gift basket is the same size and thickness. In this design, it's not. Luxury at home spa set. Meeting all your bath needs. Enjoy a spa quality experience at home with Freda and Joe Spa gift basket. Now, all of these things need to be read separately. It's not like luxuries at home spas and meeting all your breathtaking enjoy spa quality. That's too confusing. You're not pitching anything. When you have someone has 5 to 10 seconds, they need to spot something that they find interesting, and if they find that interesting, they will read the rest. But if everything looks the same, it's not nice looking and it's also not effective. So the difference between the sizes and the thickness in the board. The other thing is the distance. Yes, distance between your text. Same hierarchy is applied here. This one is bigger, this one is smaller, and this is the smallest. One second. Maybe I didn't do the best job here. Think this should be a little bigger, and in here as well. You can see the distance between the lines. That is how you properly distance each tagline between each other. So you know what is uh, next to each other, what is to be read from a distance. Sorry, what to read first, second, third. That is important. The other thing is that what is connected to what. For example, the tagline is several sub taglines, or you just say title and subtitle. is a very close by. It's like a cousin thing or like a brother and sister things. So yeah, so I would say like title and subtitle are siblings, and description is a cousin. The distance needs to be like that. I mean, the tagline or subtagline should have a decent distance, but not too much. But the distance should be greater between the subtext, subtitle, and description, so it's properly readable. This is just to explain an idea. I don't think here the designer did the worst job or something. I'm not trying to say, but I need to explain it because what I see in this design specifically is the size different and the thickness between these two, and also like this is title case as well and this is title case as well. Not a good idea, not a good implementation. Okay, so the third thing that is also a major, I think I will go that after this one because I think it's a bigger point. Let's first discuss how to find the right font. Now, font selection and font style is not something to not be taken seriously. It should be taken very seriously. It's like a big thing. It's like a big deal. A font style is like a personality of a product. It's supposed to showcase what the product is about. Every design element in a completed project supposed to complement each other or sell the same idea. It should be able to easily explain, hey, this is a beauty product. Hey, this is a luxury product. Hey, this is a product for someone masculine. This is a product for someone feminine. It's for a man or for a child or for a woman. That is all can be said by a font style. So it's not something to not take unseriously. So, how to find the right font? You may ask, you first have to identify what kind of product you are working with. Is it a vintage product? Is it a beauty product? Is it a service? Is it a tech product? What kind of product it is? It is a kitchen product. You understand that, you identify that, then you go online and start to look for those type of branding. Art is beauty product. I searched for beauty product. I scrolled down and I found a lot of different options. I tried to find a theme that is very close to what I'm doing. And then I tried to do the same for us then. So this is very close to what we are doing. It's vibrant, it's fresh, it's luxurious, it's new, modern, and that's what we are doing here as well. So I did something similar as well. This formula can be applied to any kind of product. So let's just do that in the future. Let's just try to understand what kind of product it is and then try to find a font. And how to find the best font is to just find the popular one because that's the best font. Don't try to find it, figure it out yourself, or to get just be like, oh, this is a kid product, so I just find I will download any funky font. No, find look for popular fonts that are good for toys and kids and use that because that is the best looking font for that category. If you want to make your design better, that is also, if you want to make your font selection better, that is what you need to do. And that will eventually make your design better as well. This is very important. Another thing I wanted to talk about between distances is the distance between lines. This is something I also see a lot. Your content either has this much distance between them or this much. Both are wrong. You need to find a balance between it. And the balance is the size of the font plus 3 to 4 points more. That is where you will find the sweet spot. You have to look it from a distance, easily readable, not too much distance, maybe 1 point less. Okay, this is very balanced and nice. And this is what I applied here as well. Don't make it like this, which is too close or too much distance between them, where you see it maybe like this is too close. Get what I mean? So that is very important to understand. Make sure the distance is nice, can be read from a distance, and it flows well. Don't make it too much or too less. Always look at your design from a distance. Is it readable? Is the hierarchy proper? That is something you need to see. Okay. So if you want to know, the term for this is negative space. Whatever the negative space is, you have to understand how to properly add it or disclose it, decrease it, both things. Let's delete this. I hope you had a good idea of hierarchy. Right. Let's move to the other subject, which is the issue of copy pasting. Now, this is something I run in a lot with the designer, and I had a discussion with the content writers as well. The client is saying that the content is very copy pasted or the design is not as interesting, and one of the reason is this, where we take the content, copy paste it, and call it a day. So we have to change that attitude towards the design. We need to find unique creative ways to showcase the content. Now you don't have to do something out of the box or way too unique, or you have to solve a hardest equation for this. Very basic tweaks and principles will make it 10 times better. Let me explain some of the faults here. Negative space, see here, negative space here. Why are we not using this? What is stopping us from using it? What is even here? Are we going to add something later? This is the final design, right? Why there is so much negative space? This is good negative space. This is 5 times the negative space, so it's not good. A lot of space here as well. Negative space is very important, but too much negative space is also like the opposite spectrum of of the same problem. It should be negative, but not like empty, The whole thing shouldn't be. When you have the space, use it. Use it to your benefit. You have room to play, you have room to do so much stuff. What is holding you back? You know? I did something very simple here. Apart from applying the same hierarchy principle and the golden ratio and the size difference and the line difference and the distance, I made a very simple infographic. Very simple. I can recreate this in within a minute. Box, round it up, flat icon, look for tick, call it a day. Very simple. But now it does not look like you just copy paste something. It looks like you put an effort to it. But you didn't put that much effort. But to the client, it will look like you really took the time to take care of each thing, which is what we're trying to reach, you know. Now, there are some principle to this, and those are the same principle. There needs to be space here, right? That don't make it too small. For example, don't make it this much. Doesn't look good. Or don't make it like this either. Too big. Enough to make it look nice, easily readable. There is a breathing space, negative space, enough to be able to readable. Why we put not too much or enough space, negative space? I think I already explained why too much space is bad. Because then you are too confused. And too less of the space also I explained in this context that it's not readable from a distance. Same thing applies here. It feels like this clothes is too much clutter going on in a very small area. There is no balance here. And you cannot read it from a distance. It looks too busy. But suddenly it's readable. You can really focus on the content and easily understand it. So that is like a principle to apply when you're making it. Same applies for everything. If you wanna add an icon or a tick or like an image, same kind of distance will apply, you know. Just for the image, you can take the whole area because images have a lot of details and you wanna properly showcase it, you know. So making it too small won't look good. So basically you can make the circle this big, push the content away and drag the lines above here so you have proper distance. But in our case we didn't, so we use sticks. But what is the other reason I use sticks here is because this is something I cannot really showcase in a stock image, or you cannot find the accurate icon for it. So in that case, I use a tick. When you are check marking something, or you cannot find an icon or an image for something, use a tick or highlight it like this. You know, when to use icons? When the bullet points are something that is very popular and it's like a term, then you can find an icon. If it's like a experience or something, you cannot find an icon, then use a tick. And if it is something like an ingredient where putting a tick is weird and you cannot find a icon for it, use an image in a clip mask or you know. For example, durable, portable, vegan, made in USA. You can find icons for that. For example, mint, turmeric, whatever, water, mango, cheese. You can find images for that. You don't have to find ticks. But you can find images or icons, freshness all day, fragmented, irresistible. How are you gonna find irresistible attraction icon or an image? So use a tick in that case. And utilize the space you have in the image. One major thing that I was mentioning earlier that it's a larger font, so I will come to it next hand, is like the sizes are too small of the fonts. Why why is that? Why aren't we not using the whole space here? We have so much space. Why the fonts are so small that is not readable from a distance? In here it's readable now. So let's just do it in that way. Make things readable, utilize your utilize your space enough to make your content highlighted and properly visible. Give them enough information. I always design by looking at the content first. Do not make the image first and cram the content into it. Check the content. Make sure how much content you need to use for that image. Then make the design. I always feel like we add content after the fact. We design the image, then we like where we can add the content. Oh, at the top right corner we have space. Just copy paste it there. Does not look good. You need to give it a proper care and love, like you give it to this amazing looking design. This is really nicely made, but when it comes to here, it's like 5 seconds, an hour. You get what I mean? Give them the love as well, because that is how you make your design from beginner to next level, basically. Now, all the other images, I have the same type of concept. Hierarchy, font sizes, distance, font type, thickness, applied in the same way. Other thing I would say that do not copy paste content like this. This is only meant for paragraphs. So, for example, paragraphs, these longer, even longer than that. If the content is this long, then you can do this. But if the content is this long, then don't do this. Doesn't work. Because like that what happens, like there's too much distance then. It's not working with this. But you can see the example here. Enjoy too much space, whatever. So there is too much space. This is only meant for larger paragraphs, not for something like this. This makes it look bad. This is not where you use this. Use it in a simple way. I also utilize the proper space here, not too much negative space over here, as you can tell. Same thing here, we have too much space everywhere. So I try to use it more than what it was before. Like too much space here, we can use it. Won't hurt the designer, will only make it better. Proper font sizes, proper spacing, from a distance is still readable. Storage picnic decoration cannot read it here. Same thing here, too much negative space. We have so much negative space here. And the content is so much cramped. Look at this. Same formula here. And very simple, very simple. I made a square, title, description. So much better. Simple solution. Very simple solution makes it 10 times better. Makes your client think like you put enough effort there. You didn't copy paste something. This looks copy pasted. Size is not utilizing whatever. Same here. Copy pasted, utilized. Simply just added all the images, wrote some wrote their name down it. It's easy to read, easy to understand, will be helpful for people who don't know everything, will be helpful to identify each product, visually see it. Now, don't take any offense, but this is what a content writer would do. They will write the content. Designer will do something like this. They will visually make it better, make it an infographic. You have the tools, you have the means. Who's stopping you? You get what I mean? This is what the content writer supposed to do. Write it down. You're supposed to design it. You know, so much negative space here as well. Why are we not utilizing it? We use the same image from here and here, and it will look lazy. The client will say, hey, basically left align text, same image, same leaves, change the text. Not a good idea. Now look at my image number 1, number 2. Simply change the whole scenery and made it better. That is like the direction you need to go. Understand the content, understand what the content is saying, and what you can do to make it even easier for the viewer so they can understand it as well. They can read it. You have to really understand the content is to read. It's not a second thought. Your design is not the main hero. There is like you need your heroine, which is the content as well. So you have to have the balance there. So I think that is something you have to think about. I don't know if you already identify all the issues before, but I hope I made it more clear and understandable for you. Hierarchy, understand it better. There are other videos. Look for typography. How just search typography, graphic design on YouTube. You will find 10 times better video than what I made. Maybe mine is more customizable for you, but they are more visually pleasing and they show you many examples. Understand how to use the content, understand the negative space, understand hierarchy, font sizes, golden ratio, etc. Is it readable? It is practical. This is not practical. This is not easy to understand. This is not readable. These are like things you have to consider when you're designing. This is not interesting. You get what I mean? You get where I'm going? So properly understand that. Last thing I would say that if you also see, let me open it and make the color something else for a minute. Let's go for a yellow. Left align text, middle, left align, left align. 4 images left align, top left align, top left align, top left align, top left align, middle. Diversify it. You have more than one corner. You have left align, right align, you have bottom right, you have bottom left, bottom right, you have bottom middle, you have top middle. Then you can even do this middle left, middle right, and you can, if you also do like like this type of bullet points where you write something and you're like pointing it out. There's another. There are 9 different ways to put your text. Why we are only using 2? I did change it a little bit. I use bottom and left align, but so I didn't want him to change everything about the design. I don't have that kind of a time, so I had to make some compromises. But I would recommend that you use all of these places. There are so many places to do it. You know, why just one or two? Utilize and make it differentiate. Then the client will see. He will see like, oh, you put the text, copy paste the text here, put an image. Copy paste the text here, put an image. That's how they will see it. You know, you have to fight that. You have to fight that with your design. You have to keep that in your head when you're designing. Hey, if the client makes this comment, what should I do? What is the solution? I need to do that before even he says it, so I can get my design approved. So this is everything about content and everything about typography. I would encourage you to look for more videos to even better understand it. Secondly, I would say that uh, but after finishing this video, whatever design you make next, send me the design and tell me you made that implementations and show me where you made that implementation. And I want to see that, okay? I want to see that in your next design. And I will be expecting a message from you personally with the next design and saying like, hey, I did this. I made this, implement these things because I was lacking those things in my design. And I understood that I need to improve that. And here you can see it. I need to see that in your next design. Because the point of making these videos are to improve your designs, and if they are not changing anything, that's I don't see the point of making videos, or helping you that way. I need to see that improvement. That's why I'm making all these videos to help you. And I would say don't take anything too personally. I don't think you do that on purpose or you just being lazy. It's just that you need to understand and learn more, and then you will be able to do better. This is my point, to identify the issue and help you identify what is right, what is wrong, so you can be a better judge yourself. So, on that note, I hope this has been helpful. I will be sending you this shortly, and I hope you have a great day. I will be seeing you around.